Hi everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for our panel discussions, the future of mobile app growth, creative performance, and scalable strategy. My name is Pepe Gabriela, and I'm the Senior Growth Manager at Edify Rich, and I will be your moderator for today's sessions. So we are really excited to have everyone here because mobile app growth is evolving in fast right now. User acquisition costs are increasing, creative fatigue is accelerating, attribution is becoming more complex, and growth teams are being pushed to scale more efficiently while still maintaining strong performance and retention. And because of that, growth today is no longer just about buying traffic or increasing installs. It's becoming a combination of creative strategy, AI and automation, retention systems, product experience, creator ecosystems, and performance intelligence. Before we jump into the discussions, I would love to briefly introduce what I do actually at Satisfy Reach because it connects very closely with today's topic. So, Satisfy Reach is an AI-powered influencer marketing and growth platform, helping brands scale campaigns more intelligently across the world. A big part of our approach is what we call the 3P framework. The first is personalize, using AI to dynamically optimize creator selection, audience targeting, and budget allocations in real time. The second one is predict, more into like leveraging predictive analytics and AI insights to forecast campaign performance, evaluate influencer quality, audience relevance, and engagement consistency before scaling campaign. And the third is perform because we provide detailed performance analytics and actionable insight across demographic platforms, campaign objective, and content performance. So instead of relying purely on manual process or assumption, brands can make more scalable data-driven like growth decisions. And honestly, that's why today's conversation matters so much because the future of mobile app growth is becoming increasingly integrated across creative, product, performance, AI, and community. So now let me introduce our amazing speakers today. Let's start with Lina. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Tefi. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, guys, today. So my name is Lina Danilchik, and I'm a mobile marketing strategist specializing in app growth, SEO, Apple Ads, and content strategy. I've been working in the mobile app industry for like around 7 years already, including with companies like Splitmetrics, AppTweak, and Applica. And today I work as an independent app growth consultant and also create educational content for the mobile industry through my YouTube channel. It's called Mobile Marketing True. And please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn to connect, and I will share the channel with you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, amazing, Lina. So next, Osnur, please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you all. I'm Öznur. Actually, I'm co-founder of Upside Apps, which is B2C app studio focusing on lifestyle apps. And I'm also an app growth consultant. Right now, I'm giving consultancy to education apps specifically, but also strategy. We are having strategic partnership with Fulya Academy, so I have some training sessions. I also create content around app marketing and entrepreneurship. You can follow me on Instagram as Oznur Scales. Sorry, my content is Turkish for now for the community sake. But you can reach me anytime you want.
Okay, perfect. So last but not least, Katay.
Hello everyone. I'm Çağatay. I am the key account manager of Social Patay MENA region. If you do not know about Social Patay is an ad intelligence platform for mobile marketers, both in gaming and non-gaming industries. At Social Peta, I partner with top brands and developers to decode market trends and optimize advertising strategies and scale user growth with the using real-time global data. So every day I analyze the exact trends we are going to discuss today, and which apps are winning the downloads and where the ad dollars are flowing, etc. So I'm thrilled to share actionable insights from our data today.
All right, nice one. So for all the participants, if you guys have any questions, just give the questions in the chat because we will move into audience Q&A from the chat room after we going through the several plan discussion for the panelists. All right, so the first question for you guys, I want to ask about over the past year, many traditional best practices in mobile app growth have started to break down. Like, what's one growth assumptions or strategy you think the industry is still relying on too much right now? Let's start with Lina.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. One assumption I think the industry still relies on too much, in my opinion, is the idea that using more AI and automation automatically leads to better, faster, and more qualitative growth. Over the past couple of years, a lot of teams shifted into black box growth mode, so-called, full automated campaigns, AI bidding, AI onboarding, AI generated creatives, AI everything. And while those systems, of course, they can scale, they have also made many apps look and feel very, very similar, or I would say the same for users. And they, of course, have pretty much the same results in terms of user acquisition. And it's no wonder, if everyone uses the same approach, the same recommendations, and sometimes even the same AI-driven automation platforms. These platforms can share with you information on your competitors, but at the same time they share your data with your competitors too. So the result is that differentiation is becoming the real growth bottleneck, not optimization. Not optimization is not the biggest question no more. So I think we overestimate some incremental performance tactics and underestimate positioning, creative strategy, and understanding why users actually care about your product, or what's that specific in your product. So growth now is less about hacking some algorithms and more about building clear value perception across the full user journey, from the ad your user tabs to onboarding to paywalls and retention in your app. So the companies, in my opinion, winning right now, not the ones who use most and make the most, which is also important, but that make the most of automation or using AI most actively. Although I admit that AI is now integral part of app marketing, where I was going, that the winning companies today are not the ones using most AI or making the most of automation, but truly winning companies are the ones with the strongest feedback loops between product marketing and creator style content. So just to sum up, the industry is in my opinion, a bit over optimizing for algorithms, for AI, and a bit under investing in personalization and differentiation.
Wow, that's a really interesting perspective about the shift happening across the industry right now. So, Osner, how about you from the product perspective?
Actually, from my side, I think the assumption is that people can enter a saturated market and they can overachieve in the competition with better creatives, better CPIs. But it's not the fact, actually, because when you go into a saturated market, your CPIs, your CAC will be really high. So it's harder to find the right unit economics for your app. I think to overcome this issue, people need to find the niche markets where, for example, you can find the apps in the top charts and you can find the use case or angle that the other best apps didn't think about it. So it will bring a new perspective, it will bring new creatives, and it will help you to get the lowest CPI. So it will help you to tolerate more in the competition. Because as you know, right now, almost 15,000 apps enter to App Store each month. And I think the best solution is that for finding a big market and execute for the untouched personas and use cases.
Okay, more like the personalization, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Chatai, are you seeing similar patterns from the data side?
Yeah, I try to provide some missed assumptions about the trendings, and I'll try to provide good insights and the upcoming signals and trends. So if I look back to what worked just a few years ago versus what is happening on the ground right now, the biggest shift is that the traditional the low friction growth playbook has completely broke down. So for a long time, industry relied on very straightforward strategy: buy cheap, direct to app store traffic, push users to frictionless download, hit them with standard hard paywall, and optimize the budget entirely around the cost per install. So today, if you are relying on that isolated top of funnel mindset, you are essentially burning the capital. So there are two major assumptions driving this breakdown that we, as growth leaders and intelligence service providers, have to stop relying on immediately. Like the first assumption is the UA is still a media-driven game. We are seeing a total stabilization of platforms. Algorithms like bidding mechanics on Meta, Google, and TikTok look almost identical today. So the competitive advantage has completely shifted from technical media buying and into creative-led infrastructure and learning speed. As the data in of one of our white papers about last year highlights that the creative fatigue cycles have accelerated dramatically. Sometimes winning ads only give you a few days impact before collapsing. And if you aren't treating creative execution as a core engineering system that iterates on early behavior signals, simply you cannot scale. So second assumption is the direct to app store funnel is only way to acquire high value users. Like because of price constraints, have modeled app store attributions, and we have seen mainstream migration towards the web to app funnels. By moving onboarding, custom video hooks, and interactive quizzes to the mobile web before the download, teams are capturing the first-party data signals. And most importantly, it completely reshapes the unit economics. Like developers retain the revenue up to 95%. And we also provide very deep analytics and insights about web tap strategies on the market on creative levels. So lastly, we have to stop looking at growth as a single conversion event or tracking a product or distribution to deep in organizational silos. CPI alone is a vanity metric, and low CPI means nothing if the users churns in first 48 hours because of a weak or delayed monetization signals. The teams are winning right now. Are moving towards the integrated lifecycle system. So they are designing distribution, monetization, and interactive formatting directly into the core product and evaluating performance based on durable downstream value rather than the raw app store value. So that's all for the first question.
All right. So you guys cover up about the creative, the AI, automations, like integration, the system, and stuff like that. Now I want to move on to Lina. I would love to go deeper into the creative and content side with you. So you've worked intensively, like across content marketing, ASO, Apple Search Ads, and app growth strategy. As creativity accelerates and user attention becomes harder to capture right now. Like what kinds of content and messaging approaches are actually helping apps to build stronger in acquisition and long-term engagement today?
That's a really great question. Thank you for asking me. Well, my answer will be like related with what I've covered today. Like I've covered that it's important, differentiation is very important today. So the apps winning today are not just producing more creatives; they are building more relevance to their users. And I think one of the biggest shifts in mobile growth right now is that polished performance marketing alone is no longer enough. Users are seeing hundreds or sometimes, I don't know, thousands of ads every day, and creative fatigue is happening faster, and many ads are starting to look identical. Because everyone, let's be honest, everyone is using similar frameworks, AI tools, hooks, and formats pretty much the same. So the question is no longer just how do we produce more creatives, but how do we make users feel this app is actually relevant to them? Or else, how do we have not only what's working for now, because, in the mobile app industry, what's working today can easily stop working tomorrow. So how do we have not only what's working right now, but also plan B, C, etc. once the main strategy no longer works? And the apps that are doing well in this term today usually focus on a few things, and I will list them now. So the first one is that native and creative style, like UGC generated content, is outperforming overly polished to clean ads. Users usually respond better to content that feels like not so ad, but more platform native and emotionally believable, telling a story. Especially it works on TikTok, Instagram, Reels, and Shorts on YouTube. And highly polished ads, they often underperform compared to create style content that feels more authentic, more opinionated, or experience driven. So I'm seeing really strong performance from real use cases, problem solving, storytelling, relatable to some users' frustrations, before and after transformations, and content that looks like something a real user would actually post. So in many cases, the best performing ad doesn't feel like an ad immediately. You'll start watching, and only later maybe you will understand this is an ad. The second thing successful apps are focusing for is that messaging specificity matters much more than just broad positioning and covering everyone with, for example, AI broad targeting. A lot of apps still use very generic messaging, like, for example, track your habits, learn languages faster, or improve your productivity. But generic messaging disappears in crowded feeds, and what works today is specificity, differentiation we are talking about today. So you need to speak to every concrete user pain point that your app solves. You should highlight a very specific outcome or a very recognizable moment in the user journey. So, for example, use such phrases like "stop forgetting vocabulary in 2 days" or "budget without spreadsheets." Thing number 3 I would like to cover that successful apps are sticking to today is ASO, ads, onboarding, and product messaging. They need to be connected. Although it may seem that these are different aspects of app marketing, one thing I think teams underestimate is consistency across the full user journey. So the message in the ad, the App Store screenshots, first product experience, and your paywall should reinforce the same value proposition. And many apps lose users because the acquisition promise, like something that a user sees in an ad, and the actual experience might feel disconnected. So make sure that what you show to users in your ad, on your App Store product page, and beyond within the app, they like provide the same value proposition. And the last but not least, thing number 4 is long-term growth increasingly comes from trust and not just acquisition efficiency. And the apps building sustainable growth are usually investing in content ecosystems, not just some performance marketing campaigns. What works now? Educational content, creator collaborations, community-driven content, founder visibility when CEOs and founders are very visible in the public field. YouTube channels, TikTok accounts. These channels build familiarity and trust, after which the apps are often recognized and installed. And this trust can be built much earlier prior to like the app is installed. And in a world where paid acquisition is becoming more and more expensive, trust is becoming a real growth advantage and competitive advantage. So overall, I think the future of mobile growth is less about scaling, for example, scaling creative volume endlessly, and more about building a differentiated messaging, stronger emotional relevance, and a more connected user experience from first impression to retention.
Nice. Really good insight about differentiation, relevancy, UGC, consistency, value propositions, build the trust until creating a content ecosystem. If I can ask you, like, are there any certain storytelling formats, because you mentioned the storytelling one, that consistently perform better for mobile app marketing?
You should just test and find, like, there is no one universal silver bullet that fits every app, and it differs from app category to category. It's different for mobile games. For example, for mobile games, it's often user-generated content when like players are sharing their success in the game, their progress within the game, and storytelling is something that just think about something that can make your app go viral and make your users recommend it to their friends. For example, if it's social networking category or lifestyle, something that hits right in the bullseye and catches a specific pain point, and for example, a user finds a feature very interesting, or just funny or valuable, and they like want, look at me, I'm using this app, please try. So my point is that it's not even about ads at some point, because, for example, make your app and your presence in the social media, in such channels as YouTube and TikTok especially, like so natural, so organic that users would feel the need, the urge to share like how they are using this app. And of course, it's not like there is no like a strict plan how to do this. You just need to test. As I mentioned before, for example, you have something that's working today, and tomorrow users are just losing interest like in that, and you need to have plan B, C, and test various value propositions. What draws more attention from users, and like encourage users to share this, and this is the best storyteller. And another aspect is when also, as I mentioned, when founders are very engaged, but they need to be like, I've seen a lot of disconnect when founders are pushed to participate, to share their thoughts in social media, and they are great in some operational questions, and they are not so strong in the public presence, and then users feel this disconnect. So a CEO and CEO or a founder, they should be like evangelists of their brand from the beginning. They should be active and present in social media, and in this case, storytelling from their side might work.
Okay, thank you, Lina, for your answer. I think that was a great answer for, and I think many like mobile app publisher or something also ask the same thing as me. So let's move to Osnur. Like from the app publisher and product perspective for sure. How do you balance monetization, retention, and growth without hurting the overall user experience? That's the first one. And are there any product or growth decisions that you think app teams still underestimate today?
It's a great question, thank you. And I think the tension is real, but I don't think it fully goes away. But the teams that handle the best are the ones who see monetization as a product decision instead of the revenue decision. At Upside, we ship fast. We build an app per week. We are looking for unsaturated, untouched markets. And we have a strong intuition around where to put the paywall, what the free experience should be look like, and when to ask for money to the users. And what we learned is that if users see the paywall after the aha moment, not after, before the aha moment, it just doesn't work. You just put some extra steps on the journey, so you're just burning the money. And I think the app teams are still massively underestimate the paywall itself. They test their ad creatives a lot, they test their onboarding, but they test their paywalls only once or twice in a year, which is not enough to find the right audience with the right user experience. I think paywall itself deserves the same discipline as the other parts of the app. And I think the second important thing is, as Lina mentioned, influencer and organic channels are still dramatically underinvested. I work with a couple of single super apps, and we are seeing, I work with UGC creators, micro influencers, macro and mid-tier influencers. And when I work with UGC influencers, UGC creators, I see 7x, 8x ROAS. But when I do performance marketing, even seeing 1.2x ROAS is too hard. So because the social organic visibility brings virality, it brings the peer-to-peer evaluation about the app. So it makes your app more powerful because, for example, when you stop your paid channels, you stop getting more users. But when you create a organic community, when you create an organic virality, even you stop your campaign, the speech of talk continues, so it helps you in long run. I can mention about them. I think organic part, it should be investigated more, should be tested more. Every time I surprised with the outcomes.
All right, I want to ask you another questions, but I think like many, participants also ask a question, so I will save that for later. So let's move to Chatai then. So Chatai, since social media works mostly with global ad intelligence and creative trends, what patterns are you currently seeing in high-performing mobile app ad creatives? That's the first one. And how are they changing across different markets and platforms?
Hmm. Thank you very much for the question. So when we look across the Social Petals Global Ad Intelligence database, which tracks over the 1.6 billion ad creatives on itself with the 80 plus digital ad networks and channels, the macro pattern for high-performing mobile creatives is clear. Like technical network side media execution has stabilized, meaning the creative asset itself has officially become a primary lever for sustainable user acquisition and growth. So currently, three powerful creative trends are separating the market leaders from everyone else. The first one is the absolute shift to entertainment native structures. Video formats are now make up to roughly 70% of total social ad inventory. However, users have a finite attention budget and standard ads are burning out. High-performing assets must deliver an organic micro UGC or short-form tutorial dynamic that hooks users within the first 1 or 2 seconds and demonstrates the direct product value inside the 20 seconds. So the second trend is the explosive growth of interactive and playable ads beyond the mobile gaming. So formats like UI simulations, benefit calculators, or feature tryouts are heavily outperforming the static images. Why? Because they allow users to pre-qualify themselves before the usage, and while a traditional static image captures an attention span of under a second, playable at secure and incredible 5 to 12 seconds of active attention duration and lifting the downstream install action rates up to 20%. And thirdly, we are seeing a massive structural change in creative production velocity driven by AI. So monthly creatives per single advertisers have dramatically jumped by like 73% because the creative fatigue window has shrunk down to just a few days for high impact ads. The speed of design iteration has overtaken raw media spend as a core competitive advantage. Now, like these patterns changed across platforms and global regions is highly fragmented. So I'll try to explain which patterns are useful in specific regions. In North America, we are dealing with the most major, heavily saturated digital commerce market. Users expect instant validation, meaning that copies must highlight specific transactional benefits like cost saving, free trials, or immediate utility. In Europe, which houses the largest collective volume of active mobile app advertisers globally, standing out thus requires hyper-localized variations and building immense upper funnel brand trust. And meanwhile, like emerging markets like Southeast Asia and Middle East are characterized by a lower total of number of absolute advertisers, but an incredibly intense creative volume per single advertisers. Marketers here must constantly launch a local community-driven scenario-based narratives to capture and educate consumer mindsets. So we have to stop throwing massive budgets at traditional programmatic bidding networks, expecting the algorithm to save us. Winning in 2026 requires treating creative execution as a core infrastructure, using an automation to rapidly deploy localized entertainment style hooks, analyzing the early behavior signals, and iterating on those layouts before performance window collapses. And that's all.
Great. So when also like put the point into credibility and also organic like creatives, you also mentioned credibility, like structure change by AI right now. Hyperactualized community also really burdened right now. So, guys, I have another question for you all. As competition intensifies and growth becomes harder to sustain over time, what do you think separates the app teams and the scale consistently from the ones that plateau too early? Let's start with Lina.
Well, that's also a very interesting question. I would say that the teams that scale consistently today are the ones that build systems, like that use systematic approach to growth instead of just focusing on campaigns. I think the biggest difference between teams that keep scaling and the ones that plateau is that successful teams stop treating growth as just a single channel optimization problem. And the teams that plateau are often overly dependent on only one thing. They put their stakes like at one acquisition channel that currently works for them, one winning creative format, one algorithm, or one short-term tactic. But those advantages usually eventually decay, So the strongest teams build fast learning loops. The best app teams are usually not the ones with perfect ideas from the ideas, but they are the ones that learn faster, constantly test and learn faster. And of course, apply those insights. They constantly test messaging, creatives, onboarding, retention flows, monetization, ASO, and paid UA channels strategies. And most importantly, they connect insights across teams instead of operating in silos. ASO, user acquisition, and product teams, they should work together, like to achieve success in the long run. They shouldn't work separately, although some still treat organic growth and paid growth separately. And product is standing somewhere behind too, and I think it's a mistake. Also, successful teams today invest in differentiation. Again, what I mentioned today, not just optimization. And I should admit that a lot of apps today are already well optimized, but optimization alone is becoming quite easier, to replicate, especially with AI tools and automation, which is widely available. So what's really harder to replicate today and harder to replicate another app's success is strong positioning, brand recognition, and emotional relevance. And of course, a product itself, product experience users generally remember. So sustainable growth increasingly comes from differentiation and personalization and not just efficiency. Also, successful teams that do not plateau but keep sustainable growth, they think beyond acquisition. They are always one step ahead. The strongest growth teams understand that retention and perception, in essence, are growth channels too. And it's not just about lowering CPIs, it's about whether users understand your product value quickly, whether they trust the brand and know the brand, whether they stay engaged, and eventually whether they are able to recommend your app to others. Teams that focus on acquisition metrics often grow quickly at first, and it may seem like success, but they plateau faster too. So overall, I think that the teams that scale consistently are the ones that combine experimentation, constant testing, experimentation with clear positioning, cross-functional thinking, and a deep understanding of their users, of their target audience, not just ad platforms.
All right, great. So, how about Oscar? What do you think, Oscar?
I totally agree with Lina. She almost said all the things. I can just add some small points to that. I think the teams that scale and have made pace with the wrong fast, they're not attached to their assumptions, they attach the outcome, so they test again and again. If they fail, they see why they fail and they just go on. And the teams at plateau are usually the ones that optimizing for local maximum. They found something worked, they scaled it, and then they stopped experimenting for retention, for acquisition, for any part of the product. And meanwhile, when they are not questioning on the what's happening there, channel gets saturated, creatives fatigue, and algorithm shifts anyway. So you need to keep up with the changes in your category, in your acquisition channels, in your retention methods. So you will keep up the pace because, for example, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, performance marketing was a hit. Yes, it's happening now. It's an important engine, but for some categories, something else works better. So you need to keep up with those changes. And I also, as I mentioned sustainable growth almost always has an organic component, as also Lina mentioned. Paid can accelerate, but it can't replace word of mouth. It cannot replace the trust on the product and brand, or a community or a product people actually recommend. I think it's the most important part. And if growth stops, the moment you pause your ads, you won't have a growth engine for your product. You will only have a treadmill. So organic is always something that you should be careful about.
All right. Satai, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, and I am also totally agree with Özgür and Lina. So they put very good perspective on these questions. I can I have already expressed what I think about what is going to work in the coming up quarters. So I will not act that much anything different. So that's all on my end.
All right. Thank you
If you
all.
want, I
Yeah.
can ditch into like the CPI dedicated teams are not scaling enough because of the team orientation has to be like composed between the product and marketing and UA altogether, etc. So I do not want to repeat myself on these topics. So that's why uh, I I I will not add anything new. Thank you.
All right. So that was incredibly insightful from you, all the answers. So let's move into audience Q&A and take some questions from the chat. The first question is oh from Olivia. AI tools are making creative production much faster, but many teams still struggle with creativity and differentiation. How do you see the balance between high generation scale and maintaining and Lina? Uh,
Yeah. Can you hear me? Because I think my internet connection is stable or it's
Yeah,
on deficit. Yeah. Okay.
we can
Awesome.
hear you. Tafi's internet is.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I think that AI dramatically improving creative production efficiency, but it's not automatically improving creative quality. I think everyone will agree with that. And what's happening right now is that many teams can produce even more assets than ever before with the help of AI, of course. Faster iterations, more variations, more localization, more formats, and yeah, that's valuable. But at the same time, AI, I would say it's also contributing to creative homogenization. And again, there is a problem. I highlighted today that a lot of ads are starting to look and sound and feel to users very similar, because teams are often use the same, not the same, okay, pretty much similar prompts, similar hooks, the same creative frameworks. So I think the competitive advantage is shifting. And while in the past, execution speed alone, yes, it could be a major edge. But today, AI is making speed more accessible, accessible to everyone. So the stronger advantage now is strategic creativity. And so what I want to highlight here, that although it's a separate topic, AI versus human, and all these layoffs, etc. But my point is that AI is a very powerful amplifier. We cannot argue that, but it's not a replacement for creative strategy, and it's not a replacement for human insight. So the best teams are usually combining both AI-driven scale. They use this technology, they leverage it, but at the same time, they have really smart people in their teams with strong human insight that brings new perspective and analyzes sometimes even better than machines. So you can use AI to accelerate production of creatives, their testing, but the underlying creative direction still comes from a deep understanding of your users, from positioning of your app, how value proposition of your app, and from platform behavior. And I honestly believe that the human layer today is becoming even more important as AI generated content becomes more common, and you see more and more of this, and within all this AI generated variety of various types of content, from creatives to LinkedIn posts to articles, something created purely by human feels like a diamond. So I fully support using AI tools, but don't forget to think strategically, think creatively, and add human insight to it. And a quick tip, for example, you can follow some borrow some ideas from your users, like how your users comment on your app, which reviews, which words they use in their reviews. Although it can also be analyzed by AI platforms today, but look at this, what words they use, how they feel about your app, and leverage those insights, their take on your product in your creatives, in your messaging, etc.
I also wanna add a point to that. From my experience, I'm working on my own apps that we launch. For those apps, it's good to use AI creatives because it helps to test the product faster. It helps to understand the demand faster. It's really great. But when I work with a scaled app, a scaled company, I need to work around the trust and creativity more. So I mentioned about the UGC program that I already work on. In the UGC program, we work with the same target persona as UGC creators. They're college students, and we give them some checklists that must be in the ad. But they put their creativity, they check the trends more than me, more than anyone. Even they are more into the current social trends. So they add their own creativity, and when they get viral, the same post works the best in the paid channels as well. Because it gives the trust, it gives the authenticity. Yes, AI improved a lot, but still it doesn't give the same authenticity as the person have the same struggle in their current lives. I think balancing it according to the scale of the app, according to the topic of the app is the most important thing.
All right. Thank you, Lina and Osner, for your answer. I think I have another question. I think it's really going well with Chapai. So, with so many growth channels and optimization tools available today, how do you decide which metrics usually matter most when evaluating app growth performance?
So, as a service provider, which mainly focused on ad creatives and creative volume, and this like providing intelligence on the network distribution, etc. I say that the most important metric is creatives and how to optimize it on specific regions. But I think Öznur can provide better answer as a product leader on her end, and she also has experience on growth side. So I don't want to be biased on that side.
From my side, as growth channels and optimization tools, it really depends on the app category that I'm working on. Because, for example, if I work on the education app, if my main persona is college students, I need to check TikTok and Instagram immediately because it's where my target audience is around. But if I work a productivity app, maybe I don't have to be in those channels. I may check, for example, Reddit maybe, or for example, maybe Discord. I think it depends on your creativity. You need to know all the channels, what you can achieve, to which persona you can reach, and then you need to decide on which channels are better. For the case that I mentioned previously, for the education app part, for example, UGC Creator Program is the most important aspects of the overall strategy. Yes, we are doing performance, we are doing macro influencer, but the best results coming from UGC creators. So we started to work with Site Shift, for example, because they can help us to run the same campaign in other regions as well, because we want to expand to other regions. Our current goal is on it. So I think this, again, the stage is important. It's not the same for my own apps because I'm only targeting US market. I'm only going to a specific niche. So my strategy will change. For the new launch, for example, Sky Guide kind of app, with when I compare with education app, I think all the channels should be constantly tested, but we need to check the opportunity cost for testing those specific channel, as the budget, as the effort, and as the time you will spend on.
That's a great insight. So, guys, I'm really sorry because we are running out of time now. But huge thank you again to all our speakers, Osnur, Lina, Chatai. I think today's discussion made one thing very clear, that mobile app growth today is no longer just about scaling span, but more into like moving forward are the ones that can combine creative intelligence, AI and automation, strong product experience, scalable acquisition, retention, performance insight into one connected growth strategy. And if you like to ask another question to our speaker, please connect with them through LinkedIn. And if you also want to continue the conversation or learn more about AI-powered influencer growth strategies, you can feel free to contact me. Thank you, everyone, once again, and hope to see you in the future sessions, because I think this is like a monthly webinar, right? So, everyone, have a great day, and thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See
Thank
you.
you. See you guys. Thank you,
See
Tech,
you
for
guys.
moderation.